With 1.1 of Neverness to Everness coming soon, today I'll be going over everything you should do before the end of May and before the next upcoming patch. To be clear, some things reset with the version update around June 2nd, some reset at the end of the month, and Hotori's Banner and shortly after this. This is especially important, of course, right now because version 1.1 is coming soon with Lacrimosa and a lot of new content. So if you want to be ready for the update, you'll need as many pulls, upgraded materials, and resources as possible before 1.1 drops. Like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed or learned something from today's video. And now, a word from today's sponsor, Enjoy GM. If you're planning to top up in Neverness to Everness, new users are currently receiving an extra 8% coupon after registering. Enjoy GM, however, offers discounted Rift Crystals with up to 22% off first-time purchases. With this, depending on your region, after stacking Enjoy GM's discount with the 8% coupon, this means that the 6,480 Rift Crystal package can actually drop to around 78 USD. Of course, the actual prices and offers will vary based on region, but the process is very simple. First, bind an email to your NTE account in-game, then on Enjoy GM, enter the same in-game email, the password used only for top-up, and select your server. Now, to be clear, the information here will only be used for the recharge process and is not stored, and if you're worried about safety, you can always change your password right after the top-up is completed. Enjoy GM is also PCI DSS certified and has many positive Trustpilot reviews, so check the link in the description and join their official Discord for extra discounts, giveaways, and so much more. Now let's get back to the checklist though. Now the first thing we should go over is Hotori's Banner though. To be clear, this ends on June 3rd at around 10 PM UTC, so if you know you won Hotori and haven't pulled yet, make sure you do it before this ends. The next thing you'll want to check is Circle Bounty, which is basically NTE's Battle Pass. By completing missions and earning points, as you're all likely familiar with, you unlock rewards like upgraded materials, dice, and other useful items. However, if you paid for the premium track, there are, of course, also extra rewards, including limited items like fabricated dice and exclusive ARC-related rewards. The Circle Bounty, however, refreshes with the version change around June 2nd, in case you didn't know, so make sure to claim this before then, and yes, I am including this because completing missions and earning points is not enough, you still need to manually claim these rewards. The next thing we should check in on, however, is your endgame combat progress. To be clear, this is one of NTE's harder combat modes in the form of Beyond the Rails, and it has two main parts, the all-day route and the special route. The all-day route is the permanent beginner intro route with the 10 base stages, but once you clear all 10 stages of the all-day route, you unlock the special route. The special route is what resets monthly, and for this cycle, it resets around the version change on June 2nd. By clearing this activity though, you gain Analyth and the currency used in the Otherworld salvage station. Even if you fully can't clear everything though, this is still pretty worth doing as much as you can, as partial progress still gives rewards, and leaving it untouched does mean losing both pull currency and shop currency. Now, since Beyond the Rails also gives its own shop currency, let's talk about the mode shop next. To be clear, these are also two very important shops. To start though, we have the metal shop. This is where you spend the currency that you get from clearing high-risk commissions, and so if you've been doing these commissions, make sure to check the metal shop before the reset and buy whatever materials that your account needs. Next though, you have the Otherworld salvage station. This is the shop tied, of course, to the Beyond the Rails activity that we mentioned earlier. Now, the currency that you get from clearing Beyond the Rails can be used to buy useful resources like character EXP materials, ARC upgrade materials, beetle coins, fawns, and other progression items, but both shops do have limited exchanges, so if you have currency sitting around, don't forget to spend it before the shop refreshes. Next, we have the Hunter Exchange. This shop resets with the version change, so around June 2nd, and you can access this from the shop by simply opening the Hunter Exchange tab. Here is where you can exchange fawns for valuable items, but though you can trade for things like gacha items, including the Analyth and Tri-Keys, as well as EXP materials, material boxes, gifts, and other upgrade resources, you should be very careful here. Now, of course, the most important thing to grab are usually the gacha items first, and so if you have enough fawns, you can buy the Analyth and Tri-Keys before the reset, but in general, you do need to be careful as this does cost a decent amount of fawns. However, of course, if you have enough fawns for all of this, you can also buy upgrade materials depending on what your character needs. The shop is easy in general to forget though, because the reset timing is tied to the version, not just the normal monthly reset, but it is arguably a shop that you may not want to use earlier on, especially if you're trying to push for additional fawns. Another Another important thing to check is the lost exchange though. Lost pieces are obtained when you pull on banners, mostly when you get B rank arcs, and this is where you can then use them in the lost exchange to trade for different items. The most important items here though are the gacha related ones. This includes the fabricated dice, the solid dice, and tri keys. Now these are the ones that I would prioritize first because missing pull currency in general always feels painful, but after this, if you have extra lost pieces, you could definitely choose based on what your account needs or wait in the future for the next rotation of said currency. That said, if you want to raise your reputation level, you could always buy the fawns here to do so, or even buy said fawns just to increase your city tycoon level. And to add to this, if you're just looking to max out your relationship or your bond with a character, you could also of course buy fluff cloud cotton. If you want to progress your characters or arcs though, you can also alternatively buy EXP materials, but the key to this of course is that the shop resets monthly. So if you're in a rush or if you haven't pre-farmed enough and you want to upgrade something from your characters, make sure to check this shop before the month resets. However, again, as a final disclaimer, if you don't plan to pull at all next month, make sure to keep enough lost pieces for the next monthly reset too, especially for the dice and tri keys, as these are definitely the most important in terms of pulls. Next, we should talk about the warp exchange. This uses warp pieces, which you mainly get from duplicate characters or duplicate A rank arcs, and in the warp exchange, you can trade them for gacha items or standard characters. Now for most players, the safest option here is to usually buy the limited pull items like the fabricated dice or tri keys if you're trying to pull on arc banners, but if there's a standard character that you really care about and you want to progress their dupe progress, you can also of course exchange for them here. Now the important detail though is that character exchanges have a monthly limit. You can only exchange each character once per month, and so if you're actively working on dupes for a specific standard character, forgetting the shop can definitely hurt too. Now I do also acknowledge that this isn't necessarily something that every player needs to do, but for the players who do care about standard character dupes, it's definitely worth checking out before the month ends. On that note, there is one more arc related exchange for us to check, and that of course is the arc selection. To visit this store though, you'll open up the shop and check the lower part of the selection section. From this point, you can exchange tri keys for S rank arcs, and for most players, this is not necessarily something that you do though. That said, these arcs are for standard characters and they are their signature weapons, so if you have a favorite standard character and want to invest entirely into them, this is definitely an option. So before the end of May and before the new version update, here's exactly what you need to check. Check for Hotori's Banner before June 3rd, the Circle Bounty before the version resets, Beyond the Rails, Mode Shop, Hunter Exchange, Lost Exchange, Warp Exchange, and Arc Selection, all of which are slightly different in terms of their reset or when they reset, but with version 1.1 coming soon, this is even more important than before. Whether you're planning to pull for Lacrimosa, build new characters, or just prepare for the new update, these resources will definitely help a lot once 1.1 drops. So open the game, go through the list, claim anything you've already earned, and spend your limited exchange currencies before they reset. Thanks again for watching, hope this helps, and I'll see you all next time.